Welcome back to the latest episode of Living Out Loud. I'm Lily.
I'm Maya.
And I'm Megan.
And today we are going to be talking with our guest, DionneMcGinn, about her company, Cryotherapy. So, Dionne, why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
So Cryotherapy is a mobile cryotherapy company. So we bring the treatment to the athletes, to the teams, around to everyone on site, so we can treat them with cryotherapy, which helps a lot of different things.
So can you tell us a little bit about what the therapy is?
Cryotherapy is a form of cold treatment using dry liquid nitrogen. So essentially it's an extreme form of icing, but it has a lot more benefits and a lot faster process.
So Dionne, can you tell us a little bit about how you started the company?
So I'm a sports therapist, that's what my degree is in, and I'm from Ireland, so you might hear the accent coming in and out. So when I came from Ireland, actually cryotherapy, this particular type of treatment didn't exist in Boston. And as a sports therapist, I've literally seen it, how it changes people's lives and how it accelerates recovery. And so I kind of just thought, why doesn't Boston have this? So I developed a company from the ground up. And because it didn't exist, instead of waiting for people to have to come to a store and get the treatment done, I wanted to bring it to them. So I made it completely mobile at the same time.
Oh, wow. So did you learn about what it was when you were in Ireland? That's where it was originated?
Yeah, it's actually originated from Japan years and years ago, decades ago actually, up to I think 30 years ago. And then in Europe, which includes Ireland, I think I learned about it at first when I was about 18, so over about 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much where I learned it. When I was being a student sports therapist and I was helping athletes recover, the therapist that I was working with at the time had the first cryo chamber in Ireland, and he put all the athletes in there as part of their treatment, and then that's where I saw that their recovery rates were a lot faster than what you would expect as a sports therapist going through their protocol. So when I saw that happen, I knew that there was a big thing with it. Yeah.
Wow. So can you tell us a little bit about how your treatment works?
So this targeted treatment, so this is a localized treatment. So if you have a sore knee or a sore muscle, we also can do beauty treatments with this. So we can do cryofacials, cryolipolysis as well. But this just targets a specific area on your body and treats it. And when we're treating it, it's essentially like extreme icing, but a lot more comfortable because it's with dry liquid nitrogen. You don't have to wet your skin with it.
So it just blows the air on you.
Mm-hmm. And it creates a cold environment around the area. Whereas with icing, you really have to wait for your skin receptors to numb first before it can penetrate deeper. But it does this in about 5 minutes.
Wow.
So the whole process takes about 5 minutes to do?
Yeah, if we're doing a joint area, it's usually around 5 minutes. A muscle, it's a denser area and it's a larger area, so we'll spend anywhere between 10 to maximum 15 on a muscle. But yeah, it's a pretty fast treatment. Icing, on average, you'll have to do 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off. This is, you don't have to do that. It's a lot faster, and we administer the treatment, so it's a lot more relaxing for anyone who's getting it done. You don't have to sit there and wait for it to get cold.
Would you say that's more effective than icing?
Way more effective, yeah. It's not even in the same stratosphere, really. It's of the same physiological processes, but a lot faster. Yeah, way more effective.
And what are some of the benefits of it?
So there's quite a few benefits. One of the main things it's used for is speeding up recovery and reducing pain and inflammation. So wherever there's pain in the body, there's inflammation going on. So really what it does is it helps draw the blood away, and what we call vasoconstriction starts to happen at the area if we're doing targeted treatment in the body. And then that's what really reduces the inflammation, therefore that's what reduces the pain. And then what your body's going to naturally do is, once we're done with the treatment, it's going to rush the blood back there, which in turn helps with the healing and the flushing process. And then from there, it's 48-hour to 72-hour process, and really the first thing people want to do is get rid of pain, right? They don't want to be in pain too long.
If you were a patient, would you have to go there multiple times, or can you do it once and it'll
help it?
Yeah,
it depends what everyone has going on. If it's pretty recent, what they would call an acute injury, you might need to do it a couple times to get the edema down, which is the swelling. And then sometimes people do it once and they feel great after for almost a couple weeks, because sometimes our body just needs that little bit of extra help to get the swelling down, and when the swelling gets down, then the pain's away. So everyone's a little bit different, depends what's going on.
Is there a difference from like a beauty cryo or like a muscle or like joint one?
If anything, it would just be the time difference. The real physiological process that's promoted throughout the body is collagen production. So when we're doing a cryofacial, that's kind of where a lot of people see the beauty benefits. So they'll see their face glow like after, they'll have like a glowing effect, their skin tightens. And the more you do those treatments with the beauty treatments, the longer the effects last. Whereas with an injury treatment, sometimes you can just do it once and be fine, or just a couple times, and yeah. But the process is the same in the terms of like the application of it. Yeah.
What about the full body treatment? So how does that work?
Total body. So it's basically a chamber, and your head will stay out over the top, and it kind of looks like a time machine. So like you step in, and it's only 3 minutes. So your body can't be in there for longer than 3 minutes, but it's to create a shock factor within your body, what we call the flight or flight response. So you get in there, no clothes for 3 minutes, and it essentially creates that cold environment like an ice bath would, but it's cold, but it's not as uncomfortable as an ice bath. Has anyone done an ice bath?
No.
Icing.
Not really.
Cold showers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we like them?
No.
No, right. Because our skin has to get wet first, right? And we really have to stand there in order for it to penetrate through. Whereas you're in a dry, cold air environment, so it's like tricking your body into speeding up your metabolism and your recovery processes. Yeah.
So do you want to like do a treatment to like show us how it works?
I can do a treatment on you.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're not going to see, you're going to hear it first, but then you're not going to see the gas you're going to have to see it in a couple minutes. So basically what we do is we go around in a circular motion. So wherever her knee is sore, where's your knee usually sore?
Like
Like in the right here. So yeah, we make sure to keep it moving because it's so cold. We can't actually keep it in the one spot. We keep it moving around the area. And it'll get cold. You'll see the gas coming out in a second.
Do you ever do the treatments on yourself?
Yeah. Especially if it's my knee.
Yeah.
What's like the average like injury?
Ooh. It depends on the age range. Young kids like yourself is probably knees and ankles. And then people around my age range and up is like lower backs. A lot of shoulders actually too. So the knee is it doesn't have a lot of structure around it in terms of like muscle. So she's gonna feel cold kind of fast, and it'll have an effect on it pretty fast. How do you feel?
It's fine. It's like, I don't know, it's cold.
Yeah. So you just kind of go right in a circular motion.
And so what degree did you have to have for this like company?
Well, I'm a Bachelor Honors degree in Sports Therapy Rehabilitation, so it's really good to have that because when you're dealing with athletes a lot, you really need to know the anatomy and physiology of the body. So, and from there, it's the same thing with the beauty treatments and stuff like that. So you really need to be versed with the body.
Where do you get your liquid nitrogen from?
Gas companies, local gas companies will have them. It's a bit of a process to get it, but yeah.
Do you have, like, is this the biggest tank you have, or is there, like, more?
So for the whole body machine, we actually need a huge tank. It's like, I can't remember, I think it's like 200 liters, but yeah, to pump the nitrogen into that whole body machine, it's really big. It's a workout just trying to get it set up.
And will it always take like the same amount of time no matter where you get it? Like if you get it on your back or like your knee?
No, everywhere's a little bit different. So like I said, like the knee doesn't have a lot of structure around it, so it'll penetrate a lot faster. Back has muscle in there, more dense, it's more bigger area too, so the muscle will spend on it like around the same time that we would with a normal muscle, so maybe 10 minutes.
And, like, do you decide when to end it, or, like, does the machine?
For the joints, the machine decides when to end it. Now, we can adjust that because everyone's a little bit different. You know, if sometimes people have a lot more inflammation going on, or you can usually tell if their body, you know, is warmer or colder. Some people, it'll react fast. But then with the muscle treatments, we choose we put it on a continuous setting, and then we start and stop it. How's it feel?
Anyone have any more questions?
Does this help to prevent injuries too?
Yes, actually, I'm really glad you asked that. It's a proactive treatment as well. So, like, you don't have to wait till you're sore or injured to get it, although it can speed up that process and really help it. You want to, if you can do it proactively and help your body being, like, effective in its own recovery, then yeah, you can be proactive as well.
How would it do that? Just like, because it just like makes your muscles like.
So our body's always recovering. We don't think it is, but our body is always recovering, especially even with sleep at nighttime. That's when we recover the most. So really, it's sort of spiking your physiological processes to do it a lot faster and a lot more efficiently before you get injured, because we're always recovering, no matter what it is, whether it's from eating our meal, our body is recovering and taking everything it needs, all the nutrients out. So it's just really helping your body be more effective in those processes.
Is that why, like, you say that our body recovers faster than sleeping? That, like, when in the morning, like, your like knees or like your ankles or something will hurt the most?
Yeah, because well, overnight, yeah, we're like in a sort of stagnant position, right? And then to get moving in the morning, it takes a little bit time for our blood flow to go. So if you can do this in those days and whatever, people notice they have better sleep patterns with it, because their body is just more effective in doing that. Because cold, I mean, it goes back in years in science, cold really has an extremely positive effect on the body and actually building your immune system. So therefore, it prevents like against sickness and all that stuff.
If you did it for like a long time, what would happen? Like, why would it be so like unhealthy?
When you say a long time, you mean?
Like, if you like, would your like body freeze if you just like held it there?
Yeah, I mean, it's extreme cold therapy, so like we can't hold it on one area. Because, you know, it's like if you held ice on one area for too long, it kind of gets a little bit painful. It's of the same stature. If you're in the total body chamber, it's like if you went outside for too long, you know, eventually you would get, you know, hyperthermia or something. But there's always a technician there watching you, and helping you in and out of the machine. But really, through the studies and stuff that they've done over the years, they find that 3 minutes was probably the most effective amount of time to be in there and to shock your body, and then you get out. Yeah.
And like, if you do it like really often, like say you were doing like the full body treatment like 3 times a day, would that be like more healthy or worse?
You can't do it 3 times a day, not the whole body one. Yeah, so the whole body one, if you were to do it multiple times a day, they recommend you leave it 12 hours in between. But most people, unless you're an extremely pro athlete and a very elite athlete, where sometimes their schedules are up to 4 times a day training, then their body, you know, really needs the help with that. But on average, people do it maybe a couple times a week. Yeah. But yes, the more you do it, the more effective it is on your body, and the more, it's kind of like training, right? Like the more you train, you don't realize it, but you're getting fitter. It's of the same thing within the body, where you're training your body to be proactive consistently. And reducing inflammation and pain.
Are you hiring anyone right now, or is it just like you?
Yep, we're actually just started the hiring process right now. So my baby's turned into a teenager. We're like letting it go out on the road a little bit more. We're hiring a lot of people. We have a lot of students coming to us, student sports therapists, students athletic trainers, and sports psychology. Anyone who's really interested in helping people heal and feel better about themselves and really reach their next level in their sports. So that's pretty much what we're building our team around right now. Yeah.
And like, what do you have, like, so you have like a van where you keep all this stuff, like, so where do you like go to do your treatments? Like, do you only go to like people's houses to do it, or do you go to like events too?
Everywhere. People's houses, door to door, we can do that in the van. I think that's one of the most unique things about us. But then we also do events. We do teams, colleges, pretty much anywhere. We can like pretty much pull up anywhere. CrossFit locations, we do a lot of gyms. We do like our pop-up locations. So with our larger storefront on our trailer, that's where we do the whole body. We'll like post up where we'll be that weekend. And people will find us, and that's where they'll come to us because they trust us in our branding and, you know, the fact that we have a lot of people that study sports on our staff.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you have like a is the like range for prices different about like how much nitrogen you use, or just like what body part you use, or is it the same?
Treatment depends on timing, yeah. So it's the nitrogen, that's something we just factor in as a company. And then we build our prices on there, like whether it's a beauty treatment or a targeted treatment. But we really want to make it as affordable as possible to everyone, because we really want to make it as part of people's lifestyle, right? So we want to make it a good price point for people. Yeah.
How long has like this company been like
Going.
Yeah.
I founded it 2.5 years ago. Idea, like from concept on paper to it actually being formulated, I think I took 6 months. So once I decided I wanted to do it, that's all I did. I focused on it and got it on the road in 6 months, and now it's been about 2.5 years. Yeah.
So what's like the age range for this?
So the whole body treatment, you have to be 18 years or older to get in there. If there are high school athletes, anywhere between 16 and 18, they have to have parental consent and someone with them at all times. And then for the targeted treatment, we can go a little younger. We have athletes like yourselves around 13 years and up, where we'll target treatment, their knee or ankles, but that's also with parental consent. Yeah, and on board. Because that's something that, everyone I think will need to know.
Would it be like unhealthy for like a little, like maybe like a 5-year-old to do, or would it just be like?
The reason why we don't do it on people that young is because it is such a cold treatment that we need feedback on how you're feeling. And, like if I say if it's too cold, or you'll say it's getting a little, usually young people, they don't really have the wherewithal to kind of say, oh yeah, it's too cold. Like young people just want to like blast through it because they're like, I'm fine. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's really just a safety measure, and just having the knowledge of your own body yourself. You can do that more when you're older than when you're younger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you guys want to do a treatment, either of you?
Sure.
So this is like a super quick treatment. Start. Because I set up the settings. You can rest your hand on your.
It like gets colder like the longer you do it. Have you ever had anyone who like started and then they were like, I don't want to do it anymore?
No, actually no. Yeah, everyone gets a little like, oh, it's cold, but because it's dry, it's such a gradual process that and then it gets to the point, if they're numb, they don't,
like feel it.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more comfortable than icing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right.
Yeah. We all play like soccer, so like I'm sure we've all like had to ice something, and like it is uncomfortable because you have to like prop your leg up so it doesn't fall off, or like, and it's just
you have to rest. You have to give it time. Then it starts to melt and it starts to get wet. And then by that time, then you just feel like it's starting to work, and then you have to stop. Yeah. You got a tiny arm, so I'll just do your whole arm. How does it feel?
It feels okay.
Like you can't even really see like the difference, but like you can feel it.
Right.
And do you just do this for like sore knees or like joints or anything, or could you do it like for like dislocations or like stuff like that?
So, see, that was super fast because I put it on you because you were a tiny person. You can't, like anything that needs medical attention, like a dislocation, you obviously should always go get that seen first. So this is not like something that you replace medical attention with. It's something that you assist in the healing. So for example, dislocation, if there's a lot of pain, which there would be after an inflammation, this would help with the process after that. But no, it's not just sports injuries. Anyone with chronic conditions such as rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, it's an ongoing painful condition that people deal with. People's bodies that have those conditions are unfortunately in a constant state of inflammation. So they're constantly in pain. So it can be any type of pain really at all. Usually it'll help with a lot of that. Yeah. How does it feel?
It feels good.
Yeah.
Is there any like conditions that would like make it worse? Like Because I know like when your muscles get cold, like it like makes them harder to move. So would that make it worse?
Stiffen.
Yeah.
So with that, that's like the general thesis. Like people think cold and stiffness. But ironically, even with muscle spasms, we've seen a lot of results, even if we were to recommend our clients to go use heat first. They've done that, and then they've come to us, and they've said they've gotten more relief with the cold treatment than they have with that. And the reason being is because even with muscle spasm, there's pain going on, which means there's inflammation. And it really actually helps to relax it because of the vasoconstriction. And then when the blood gets pushed back there to warm up the area, stiffness actually doesn't happen. What actually happens is you feel looser. Because there's more blood flow there. You know, like when you warm up, like after in your warm-up session in soccer, you feel like nice and loose after that.
Yeah.
It's of the same stature. It's like pushing your body to do that itself. Yeah. So it's actually, it seems weird, but it's actually the opposite effect. Yeah.
Have you ever thought about like doing the cold and then like doing warm after?
Yeah. I mean, we encourage people to do that. We don't, because it's so cold, your body naturally is doing that itself. But if you can add heat to it and like to speed it up even more, like jump in a jacuzzi, that's actually a process that a lot of places use, like what they use in Russia. So they'll do the cold cryo and then they'll jump into a hot tub.
Isn't it like Roman like?
Yeah, the baths and stuff like that. It's of a similar thing. But when you're going from negative 220 Fahrenheit, targeted not so much, but if you're doing like a whole body one, you're stepping out into a room, the difference almost is like that because you're going from a negative 220 chamber into like a 70-degree room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like when you're in a pool and you go into a hot tub and you go back into a pool.
Yeah, so you totally can speed up that by applying heat, but...
Except with this, it's like more like jumping into like the freezing ocean.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. Any other questions?
Well, this is gonna sound kind of dumb, but like, how does it not like freeze if it's that cold? Like, what keeps it like dry?
So it's actually liquid in here, right? So it's liquid, so it's so cold that it gets up. I think I've often thought this too, but the tanks that they put them in, it has a material that can keep it liquid, but it eventually, if you don't use it, it dissipates, it evaporates, right? So ironically, when you're actually coming out, like when it's coming out of the hose right now, it's warm. There's a heating rod that goes in here, and it essentially warms it up from the liquid, so it turns into the vapor. Oh. So really, the liquid in there is about negative 300, and it's coming out at about negative 220.
Wow.
Yeah, but it eventually dissipates. So if we were to take this tank right now and pour it out into this room, it would evaporate as soon as it hits the air, because the air is warm. And
is it like airtight in there?
Pretty much, yeah. Once we have everything put on top and secured.
Because like if you unscrewed it, like would it all like rush out, or would it just like sit there?
It would sit there, but when we first put the liquid in and we put the heating rod in, even though it's like if the heating rod's room temperature, that's still super warm for it. So you'll see it spike up because it's like such a temperature change until they kind of match, and then it'll simmer down a little bit. So it's always a little fun trying to fill the tank.
If it's in the tank and you don't use it for a really long time, how long will it take for it to evaporate?
It depends really how full it is. It can take maybe a week. If it's okay, so it depends on the temperature. If it's sitting in the van and it's hot outside, a few days, maybe 5 days max. But if ironically, I like when it's wintertime because my van stays cold, so it keeps it cold. So I have it for a lot longer. So depending if it's hot outside and it's humid, it'll just dissipate itself in there. And I go to use it and I'm like, there's no nitrogen left.
So like, do you always get cold when you're doing the treatments? Because like you try to keep the temperature cold.
No, not really. In the winter, yeah. And surprisingly, we're busy in the winter actually. But yeah, in the winter I'm cold because the van's cold and it's cold outside. But then in the summer it's like refreshing because like you're blowing extreme cold air on it. Yeah, it's nice.
It's like built-in AC.
Yeah, exactly. Except a lot better because it's negative 220. Yeah.
Stat.
You hear it bubbling? Did you hear it switch on?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like bubbling. It's like, so just close your eyes. We're just gonna, it's just like a cool breeze.
Because your face is like wet, like I don't know, like inside your mouth is like wet, does it ever like freeze you?
If you do it
That
where?
sounds weird.
What did you say?
Like, I don't know, like your eyes have like water in them. Right?
That's
like,
why we
does
close
it,
our eyes.
So like would it freeze you if you?
It would dry them out. Yeah, like sometimes when I do it and I do a facial, even if we go too close, like if we go over their eyes, you know, when you wake up, you're like, whoa, you know what I mean? You can never hold it there. It's like you can never keep your eyes open in the wind.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like when it's winter and like you're like
Yeah.
your eyes kind of like feel like really dry.
Dry. Yeah. Feels good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, too, another key point for the facials really help with migraines.
Oh really?
And get rid of headaches. Yeah, it really helps with migraines and getting rid of headaches because that's a form of inflammation of the nerves.
Do you
And there you
ever
go.
like get people who just like call you when they get a headache?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We have a lot of chronic migraine clients, and it can be literally debilitating to people's days. So yeah, they'll call and we'll pull up and give them a quick treatment. Yeah.
What's like the range that you go from? Like, is it just all of Massachusetts?
Yeah, like Boston, central Boston. We haven't been that far out west, really. It kind of sticks metro areas. Yeah. That's about it. We can go anywhere, though, because we're mobile.
Oh, Dionne, thank you so much for coming in. This has been like a really interesting show. I think we all learned a lot. And to you viewers at home, thanks for watching Living Out Loud. I'm Lily.
I'm Maya.
And I'm Megan.
Until next time.
This program was made possible by your Franklin friends and neighbors, good folks just like you. Thanks for supporting Franklin TV. And thanks for watching.